Hello, it's Jason Akers from the Self-Sufficient Gardener podcast with another Front Porch review. Today we're reviewing the book, Barnyard in Your Backyard. And although, I'm kind of branching out and not talking about just gardening things, this is obviously a book that's almost entirely about, well, it is entirely about raising livestock. I bought this book because, even though I grew up on a farm and we raised a lot of livestock, things like poultry, I have down. I know how to raise poultry. It's no big deal. Rabbits is one thing, my parents raised, and I've kind of forgotten how to go about doing it. So I wanted just a guide I could kind of pick up real quick, and you get things like how big's the house supposed to be. If there's a problem, how do I fix that problem? So I didn't really need it for the chicken part, but there's all kinds of stuff in here that I need refreshers on, like rabbits. There's things in here that I've never done before and want to do, like goats and sheep. And there's things that I've done but don't really care to do, I guess probably again cattle specifically, just due to size and constraints and things like that. But this is from Story Publishing. It's $24.95 retail. I'll put a link to it, obviously, as always, in Amazon. It's actually where I bought it through, was from Amazon. That's an affiliate link. I'll get a little bit of a few cents kickback on that, by the way. So it's a thick book, as you can see. I mean, it's pretty thick. It's like 8.5 by 11, roughly in dimensions. There's a lot of information in here that has to be. But be warned. The only thing I can say bad about this book is it covers these animals right here on the cover. And I knew this going into it, but the one thing that kind of irks me is, where is the swine? Where's the pigs? I wanted them in this book too. I wanted to buy one book and cover them all. And I think that's the only really flaw of this book, is that it doesn't have a pig section in it. But I can't really fault it for what it doesn't have. I knew that going in, it didn't have a pig section, but there's a lot of good information in here. It doesn't cover everything really in depth. I mean, like, it's not going to tell you some things you may want to know, like on a homestead. It's not going to tell you how to slaughter a cow, or how to dress your rabbits out or dress your chickens. It skips over certain sections. Just I wouldn't say skips over them. It covers them briefly. Now, with a book of this size, with covering this many animals, that's sufficient. I don't need any more than that. I like the book the length it is. I like everything where it is. If I have questions about something, I can go pull it up on the web. But this gives you a good background of what you need to know to get started in doing these things. And it does address some problems and things like that. For instance, here's the section on raising chickens, and they talk about the baby chicks with health problems. There's plans for a brooder, which looks eerily similar to the one me and my dad used to build when we were on the farm raising chickens. In fact, me and my brother both had our own brooder down in the basement that we'd keep our baby chicks in until they got time to go outside. So it's kind of interesting there. I mean, there's no real pictures in it. It's got drawings, but the drawings are done very well. I mean, you don't even hardly really even notice the drawings are drawings. They look like pictures. For instance, here's good illustrations of the different breeds of rabbits, and that's another strength of this book. It talks about the breeds, talks about their strengths. This whole page right here is small pet breeds, Angora breeds. There's I think you go back one, you get meat breeds, or forward one, I can't remember which. Obviously I was wrong there on the first count. But if you need to know anything about raising chickens, rabbits, geese, goats, cattle, or sheep, it's going to be in this book. I've went to this book multiple times as a reference. It has things in here like you wouldn't expect to find in just like a homesteading book. For instance, certain diseases that your animals could run across. Obviously not every disease, but the common ones. So if your sheep has a runny nose, to come look at this book and find out what's the most common thing that could be going on with my animal. So really, all in all, a very good book. Tells you the ins and outs of the just general raising of these animals. Like I said, there are a few things they leave out which aren't necessarily don't really have to be here. This is just kind of a reference guide. You don't expect to pick up an encyclopedia and go to one topic and find out everything about that topic. You expect to find out a brief overview and some more details. This book goes quite a bit into detail, but you do find the encyclopedic things in specific subjects like brooding chickens, things like that. Overall, a very good book. I can't, if I was giving it a starred review, I'd give it probably 4.5 out of 5 stars, or 9 out of 10 maybe if you're doing the 10 scale or whatever. But a good book. I highly recommend it. I would buy it again if I had to, and it's probably one that's going to stay on my bookshelf for a long time. From out here in the homestead, we're going to be raising animals, and I'm definitely going to need guidance from a reference book like this. Of all the ones out there, this is the best I've found, so I highly recommend it.